What's up, y'all? Sever the bond. Well, excuse me. Sever the bond from Nets Republic. I want to start this video out by saying that I really hope that Ben Simmons is okay. I really do, because as someone, and not trying to get into my personal life, but someone who deals with pretty serious mental health stuff, um, I understand how debilitating things can get. I understand how dark things can get. I understand the concept of being so low that you can't even function. I absolutely understand that. I don't know what Ben Simmons is personally going through. I don't know what his particular ailment is, if it's bipolar disorder, if it's, some extreme form of autism. Like, I don't know what he's going through, but I know it's got to be something pretty significant to have him in the state that he is. And even if it's not, how it's affecting him is affecting him in a way that is very severe and significant. Because the fact that he's not out there must really, really be something crazy. And I know that sounds like a backhanded thing, but I'm being serious. Whatever that man is going through, I really hope he's getting the serious help he needs, because I'm not a professional basketball player, but if I was watching my team get annihilated night after night, I would be itching to get back on the floor. But if it's a situation of his mental health is just not allowed, again, I have been in several situations where I've had to call out of work. I mean, like, I've almost been fired over this type of stuff with employment. So I totally understand. Sometimes you literally can't even get out of bed. Like, I get that. But if it's so bad he can't even play, and it's not like a physical ailment or something like that, God, he's got to be going through it. So I really just want to say, I hope he's okay. With Kevin Durant, I get you're ramping up, dude, but it's like, and I'm sure it's Steve Nash and the coaching staff that's not allowing him to play, but it's like, bro, we need you bad. I mean, KD's got to be out there bad. And whereas with the Kyrie Irving thing, if it's just Kyrie, it doesn't really make much of a difference, because it's realistically just Kyrie offensively and a bunch of support dudes. So I understand that it is an unfair expectation that we are putting on Kevin Durant. But number one, if KD is as good as y'all seem to think he is, he's the difference maker, he's on the court, you're automatically winning a game. But number two, he is the only other option that's really going to impact the game in any significant way, because Kyrie Irving legally cannot play home games. The mandate hasn't been lifted yet. We're assuming it will be, but we didn't get like a confirmation like, oh, it's changed. It's just an assumption that, hey, it's probably changing. So why there's that much pressure on Kevin Durant is because he is the only person in the equation who seems like if he were to just say screw it and rush back, I think it would be okay. You can't do that with a Ben Simmons. You legally can't do that with Kyrie. That just leaves Kevin Durant, which is why I can understand why it seems like I'm some James Harden fanboy, and I totally understand that. But y'all really have to dissect what's going on here. This is what I was afraid was going to happen. Now, the first two games, I went for the head fake, drinking the Kool-Aid, whatever you want to call it, with Curry and Drummond. I was like, you know what? These two might just be enough to inspire some type of Herculean type performance to make everything okay. But what I keep on forgetting with every new addition and every component that we add is the concept that Steve Nash is the coach. And with no James Harden, we're just left with Steve Nash. And it doesn't matter what amazing things Drummond is capable of doing, if you don't feed the post, if you don't give him the ball where he can actually be effective in some type of way, Drummond's just getting cardio. I'll get back to Drummond and Steve Nash in a second. Let me ask y'all this question. If Dragic has to ramp up, if Dragic has to get in conditioning shape, what did we sign him for? Like I'm on that right now, because I'm looking around at the team and who we have out there, and I'm looking at who's on the bench, and I'm like, okay, who's not doing their job? Again, Ben Simmons, you're off the hook. I'm not saying a word. Kyrie can't legally play. There's nothing we can do about that. Well, there was something we could have did about it, but we went with Harden instead, but that's not neither there. So I'm off of Kyrie. There's nothing we can do there. We legally can't do anything about that. So I'm looking at KD and Dragic. KD's hurt. He's probably not allowed to play, but if he wanted to, he could probably force his way out there, but I understand he doesn't want to because we need him for the playoffs and he's got to be healthy. So that leaves you with Dragic. If that man is not ready to play yet, what did we sign him for? Because by the time he's done ramping up, Ben Simmons and them are going to be coming back. So where does Dragic even play then? Because if Ben Simmons and Kyrie are back full time, then where does Dragic fit in that? Patty Mills ain't getting benched. Cam Thomas ain't getting benched. Bruce Brown ain't getting benched. Lord help us if Joe Harris comes back, he ain't getting benched. We're not having Ben Simmons take time away from what he's projected to do on the court so that Dragic can get minutes. So what was the point? If we signed him to immediately relieve Patty Mills of this type of offensive responsibility, but he's not going to play during the time period where Patty Mills is having an extreme offensive responsibility, then what was the point of signing Drummond to begin with? We could have just got Schroeder and he would have been out there playing right now. And again, these are the questions. These are the frustrations that I have when I watch these games. And I'm so sick of doing this on paper thing. Well, on paper, they're unstoppable. Well, on paper, they're unstoppable. Just the fact that absolutely nothing changed and it's just business as usual, watching them get slapped around in the exact same type of way. We still got James Johnson running point off the bench. Are we still on this? Like, what changed? All the excitement, all the speculation, and for what? So they can still go out there and lose? This is just so beyond frustrating for me. And it's the exact same type of shuffle. Steve Nash is out there going like this. The only thing that changed today is the man decided to call a timeout every here and again. But it is the exact same type of loss, the exact same type of way. Again, if you have Patty Mills and Seth Curry out there starting together, instead of having Cam Thomas out there for some reason, I don't understand why he's not starting, but that's not even there, because why not? What would be the harm in it? I don't understand why we're not doing that, but that's not even there. You're asking Patty Mills to continue to be Kyrie, a Patty Mills who I'm sure is exhausted at this point. You're still asking him to be Kyrie, and I don't think the man scored. I'll be quite honest with you. I don't believe he scored. I saw a lot of bricks. I did not see any points. If I'm mistaken and he got a foul shot in there, let me know down below. But to my recollection and knowledge, the man didn't even score tonight because he's so exhausted. And you know, it's not even like he had the All-Star break to rest because we threw him out there in the three-point competition. So it ain't even like man's had a rest. We keep saying like, oh, he had a couple days for the All-Star break. Where? He was competing. Where was his break? You're going to send someone who probably needs a rest more than anyone on the roster, who's been loading all these minutes, but that's not even what he signed up for. You're going to send him to the like, I didn't say nothing because I was just trying to enjoy the moment, and there were so many other storylines and things to focus on. But you know, now that we're kind of back to reality here, what did we send Patty Mills to the All-Star game for exactly? He should have been at home chilling. He should have been at home getting some rest. And it just disgusts me to watch the cycle continue. We finally have a lineup where we have Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge playing together. That's your off-the-bench forward pairing. You got LaMarcus Aldridge at center. You got Blake Griffin at forward. Does that not make your mouth water at the possibilities? And what do? Absolutely nothing. We don't capitalize on it in the slightest. Blake Griffin is just out there standing around, passing the ball, setting screens, getting charges. That is all he does. There is not any form of a play or structured attack to get that man the ball where he can actually do some damage. It never happens. LaMarcus Aldridge goes into his own version of ISO land where he gets the rebound and has to post up from there because they'll never give him the ball down low because Steve Nash doesn't want to do that for some reason. And again, why is it that we have these players that play a certain way if you're not going to have them play a certain way? Drummond was begging for the ball. He's setting the pick. He gives you the roll, but they never give him the ball. They just kick it out for a contested three. And against the Celtics, when you got Jaylen Brown, I'm just so irritated with this team. When you have Jaylen Brown and he is being guarded and contested by Seth Curry, what did you think was going to happen? When you got Bruce Brown on Jason Tatum, what did you think was going to happen? It's just irritating. And to watch old Al Horford, of all people, take us to the cleaners, it's like, dog, that's Al Horford. Let Drummond take him to work. Give him the ball. But Steve Nash won't let that happen. Steve Nash is content to let Patty Mills run up the court, pull up from half court, and just hope for the best, right? I can't, you know, I can't with this team. I can't with this team. It's shaving days and hours off my life. I know it. I'm going to be on my deathbed and think about this season and say, that's 9 months I could have had back to my life, and I'll just die. I'll just die. And I'll just be thinking about this season and how much of a waste of time it was. Not to mention we lost another game, got blown out by the Celtics, who granted are healthy, but it's like they're the Celtics, who cares? And it's like, it was expressed on multiple occasions by Ian Eagle and Jeff Van Gundy, or Stan Van Gundy. Stan Van Gundy, is it Stan Van Gundy? This stuff is magic. Stan Van Gundy, right? It was expressed multiple times on the TNT broadcast that you were looking at the general team and you're just adding a couple stars, right? You're adding Kevin Durant, you're adding Kyrie Irving. Joe Harris is probably gone, and if you are adding a Kyrie and a KD, Dragic playing doesn't really mean anything because he won't have any minutes. He was acquired because it's just Patty. But again, we've already expressed that. I won't go over that rant again. So this is basically the same team. We're just adding two really good scorers and Ben Simmons. And let's keep it that way. Whether you put him at 4 or 1, it really doesn't matter. Is Ben Simmons actually going to contribute offensively? I don't really think that's what he wants to do. Not to mention he can't shoot. I understand he's working with Kyle Korver right now, but I mean, he's done great work with Bruce Brown, but I feel like there was something there to work with to begin with. I don't know what we're going for. I don't know what we're angling for. I can't. I'm so irritated and so frustrated. I could go on for another 10 minutes. I can go on for another 20 minutes. But I'll be honest with you, I'm stopping myself. Because it's like, what's the point? I really want to know what the point is. I'll say this for the last time. From the beginning of the season, it should have been Kyrie that was traded. Because think about it like this. Granted, we are stuck with Ben Simmons, and whenever this man is able to play, again, I'm not roasting Ben. I'm simply bringing up a fact that he is not available to play at the moment. This in-between would have been maybe KD's hurt, but we still have James Harden. And I understand he quit on us, but let's not forget why he quit on us. If Kyrie was gone and Kevin Durant was eventually coming back and we're just waiting for Ben Simmons to eventually make his debut, which he might have made it by now. Who knows, if we would have just got this done in the beginning of the season, we wouldn't be so alone. Because again, Kyrie Irving can't even play the home games because he's not legally allowed to. The man is not legally allowed to. So let's say we reverse that and it's Harden who's out there. There's no mandate that kept James Harden from playing home games. Now, granted, he wasn't trying at some point, but it was in protest because we're stuck with Kyrie. So I'm not shifting the blame off of Harden at all. It's absolutely like I'm off the Harden stuff. I'm with y'all on that. I'm trying to say that our consolation prize of, well, there's nothing we could do at this point, flip Harden for Simmons and hope for the best, because we didn't have to trade him. Let's be clear. We didn't have to trade that man. We could have just said, I don't care, keep playing. Week goes by, mandate gets lifted, it's scary hours again. Harden would have got over it, get us a chip, end of story. Even if he dips in free agency, at least we got scary hours and had a great playoff run and or a championship. But the alternative and the collateral is that we are left with the ultimate Band-Aid. And well, James Harden's gone, but we got Ben Simmons. So in home games, when you don't have Kyrie Irving, you're left with none of them. None of them. At least if it was Kyrie that was traded, we'd still have Harden to play. But when it's a home game, Kyrie can't play. If the mandate isn't lifted by the end of the season, he's eligible to play 8 of the 20-plus games we have left. Not to mention that when he does play, that's not enough to win the game. Whereas if it's Harden, let's keep it a thought. I like our chances. But we got time. We got time to see if us constantly putting Band-Aids on the situation is going to solve things. We got time to see if all these individuals are going to come together at some point. We got time. And I'll be here to cover every single game with you up until then. Hopefully we make the playoffs. It's not looking too good right now, but hopefully we do make the playoffs. It's going to be one interesting play-in tournament. I've never had to cover that before. This will be fun. Because I want to know what the plan is here. I want to know what the plan is. While we're sitting there on the sidelines giving each other dap and showing off our icy necklaces, the team is losing and spiraling.